pretty dangerous move here. Oh, we got some ants. Beautiful.
Let's open it up.
Maybe tomorrow?
All right.
Aloha everyone, it's Paulina from Off-Grid Hawaii, and today we want to talk to you guys about jackfruit. So right now we're in the middle of a pretty good jackfruit season for us here on the Big Island in the Puna district. So in this video we want to cover a little bit of how we grow it, how we harvest it, how we eat it, and how much we love it. So right now I'm standing in front of one of our several jackfruit trees on the property. So we have planted 2 grafted jackfruit trees, the black gold that I have behind me and the Zeman pink. And in addition to those, we have 3 other jackfruit trees that we started from seed from a fruit that we got in Kona back in 2016. So we started those trees in little pots back in 2016 and then planted them into the ground in 2017. And what we found was that jackfruit does really, really well here. So we don't really have much soil. It's really volcanic rock here. But we saw that once those trees were in the ground, with just like regular care and maintenance, they were able to get really big really fast. Out of those 3 jackfruit seedlings, 2 of them became pretty heavy regular producers. The fruit is really yummy. It's super sweet, good texture. And when we compare that to our grafted trees, the grafted trees do provide pretty good fruit, but the texture is a little bit crunchier, so it's a little different. We think that it's definitely worth it to try growing jackfruit from seedlings if you have enough space and time to see if they're any good. But if you definitely want a jackfruit that is known to be really good, then get a grafted one. But from our experience, the seedlings have been pretty good. And from seed, these jackfruits fruited after about 3 years. And from the grafted trees, about the same. So about 3 years, so they're pretty quick producers. So definitely if you're like in a rush to get some fruit into your mouth, plant jackfruit trees.
So a little bit about pruning. These trees are such a pain to prune, probably my least favorite tree to prune. They have so much latex, it's just white sticky sap all over the place when you're pruning. Saw gets all gummed up, so it's not very fun. I also get a little bit of an allergic reaction to it, so and also they just need to be pruned quite a bit because, like Paulina said, they grow so well here, and they're very prolific growers. Also, another thing about jackfruit is that the branches aren't really that strong. You may think they are because they have to hold these massive fruits, but if the angle of the branch is coming off weird, you know, like the leverage, they just snap. And one time I was actually pruning this tree and I was climbing it and just a branch snapped on me. I'll show you it over here. It's healed up pretty well. But that being said, you really have to stay on top of the pruning because the fruits get so big that a lot of branches break all the time. We just had one of our best trees, one of our grafted trees, had lots of fruit on it. And then they were starting to get big. They broke like 2 branches. One of them was like a really important branch. So I had to go in after and like thin out and make sure it doesn't happen again. Not a great time to prune in the middle of summer, but I had to do it just to like save some of the branches from breaking. So the sure way to tell if a jackfruit is ripe, if you go up to it and it's still on the tree, you smell it. And if it smells like jackfruit, it's ready. It's ready to pick. And also they'll be a little bit soft, so you'll be able to push your thumb in and it'll feel squishy. Another thing I've noticed to tell when they're almost ready is the color will change. They'll be like a darker green and then they'll just start to turn a little bit yellow or something. But that also could vary depending on the variety of jackfruit. Some varieties, the spikes will flatten out and that's a good way to tell if it's going to be ripe soon. These ones don't seem to do that. All these spikes are still pretty spiky. This one here, it probably was good when I brought it over here, but it's just starting to fall apart. Smelling a little fermented. Probably still good. I think probably salvageable. Maybe we should open that one. So this one here has some brown spots that look like it's starting to rot. I think I'm going to open this one first just because there will be less of a latex issue. I usually like to let them sit until you get some of this. You don't want to get too much because then it's going to go bad. But also this one doesn't really have any sign of that yet, and I'm afraid this one might have more latex than that one. Plus this one, if we don't open it now, it's probably not going to last much longer. So, one pro tip, do this outside. It's pretty messy, so good idea just to be outside. We have just a stump for a chopping block. I like to use kind of a small machete, but this is what I like. And then I use another small knife. So first thing we got to do is lather up with some coconut oil. Just rub it on your hands and then rub it on the knife. And then I like to cut the head and the butt and leave the body. So you got that. Yeah, not much latex. This is going to be not as much of a pain. And the butt. So always have some paper towel around. It's better to just get this latex off right away, like that. And then you can taste it, make sure it's good. Yep, this is a good one. A lot of times I won't even make it past this. If I taste it and it's not good or there's too much latex coming out, I can just toss it and just forget about it. I didn't get too dirty, you know, just cut your losses. But this one's really good. There's not much latex. So we're gonna finish this one up and I'll show you how to do that. You're gonna like the texture.
Okay.
Wipe the butt.
Oh,
Wipe the head.
wipe the head. So the next thing I like to do, cut it down the middle. I like to quarter it, so let's just chop one down the middle. Boom, like that. And then one more here. Sometimes they fall on the ground, but that's alright. And also, I mean, you could do more than quarters. It does make it a little bit easier later on. So I like to cut pieces like this. Alright, so now you're going to be using your other knife, your small one. This we got from one of my clients, and it's a Swiss knife. It's a very sharp, serrated knife. We're going to get a little bit of coconut oil on that. Not too much, because you don't want to change the flavor of the jackfruit. So I just cut the core off there. Now we can access the pods. You could keep reusing the same paper towel. Just keep wiping this off. And then there you go. Jackfruit.
All right, so for this part, when we actually start taking the fruit pods out, Michael and I do it together, but because he's filming right now, I'm gonna do it. And it's actually the funner part because you get to actually eat a lot of the fruit. Get coconut oil, rub it in, rub my knees, got too much. All right, and then you basically will see the pod, and it's the yellower fruit. Now, when we first harvested jackfruit from this tree, we noticed that it was like a little bit whiter, and we didn't really know much about jackfruit then, so we thought that it wasn't going to be that good because it was an orange like we were used to. But actually it turns out that jackfruit can be yellow, whitish, orange, or even pink in color, and this one just happens to be a little bit more white. So you take the pod out and then you open it, and inside you'll see the seed, and the seed is kind of like encased in another little gummy thing, and you take that out. And for us, we like to save the fruit and the seed, so this is the discard bucket. We got the seed, we got the fruit, and we just put it in our trick-or-treat bowl. But I'm gonna taste it right now. So this is my first time tasting it today. Let's see. It's a good one. You were right. Oh, it's so sweet. The flavor is like sugar, but with like such a deep, complex flavor of like candies and gum and just like happiness. Like if you're eating this, you're gonna be happy because it's so nice. So I'll just continue getting these pods out. Just save them in the bowl. And this one was definitely very ripe. Take the seed. This quarter is finished. You can just toss it into the compost bucket. We're gonna finish doing the rest of the jackfruit together, Michael and I, but because it's way faster with more people. But basically, we save these seeds to make a really yummy hummus usually. And once you get all the seeds, you put them in a pot, fill it up with water, and boil it for about 20 minutes or so. And you'll notice that the thicker outer shell of the seed kind of starts to break off. So once the shell is kind of broken off, you'll shut the pot, drain the water, and let the seeds cool. And once they're cool, you can remove that like waxy shell part and just save the seeds. And from there, you just use them like you would chickpeas to make a hummus. And this is actually my like favorite hummus that we make out of like any other beans. So it's super good. Definitely try it. But otherwise, we just eat the pods like candy. Just pop in the mouth. It's a party favorite. The kids love it. The adults love it. Everybody loves it. Yeah, and another thing we do as well is when we do have so much jackfruit, we will save it in the freezer to store, to make smoothies throughout the week. And honestly, it doesn't really last that long because we go through jackfruit like super fast because it's just so yummy. And not only is it super yummy, it's super nutritional. It's got tons of antioxidants and a lot of vitamin C and B vitamins. So yeah, if you're not eating tons of jackfruit right now, definitely start. First grow the trees and then harvest them and then cut them and then get covered in latex and then eat it. Or you could buy one from us if you live close. Alright, so we're all set with the fruit, got all the fruit out, and now comes the fun part. We need to clean our equipment, which is covered in latex. So to do that, you take your knife and your machete, or if you use a different knife to cut the whole fruit, and you basically just scrape all the latex off using the knife. And this is where the coconut oil really comes into play. So we use our tub of coconut oil. Now this oil that we use, we reserve it just for jackfruit and latex cleaning purposes. So it's definitely not the same oil that we use for cooking because it gets pretty nasty. But you just rub the oil on your equipment, and then you take a paper towel and you rub it off. And then if it's really stuck, you use your other knife and you scrape it off. Like that. You can tell this is my first time doing this. Usually Michael does this part. So you just keep rubbing that oil and getting that latex off with the oil. It works really well. Like, it's pretty much all off. So now you're just left with an oily knife, and all you gotta do from here is wash it regularly as you would with soap and water, and it's good as new. And the same thing goes for your hands. Your hands are gonna be pretty sticky as well. So just take some more coconut oil, rub your hands really good. And then what I like to do is just take a paper towel and wipe my hands off and then clean them in the sink with soap and water. Yeah, so that's it for this video. I hope you learned a little something new about jackfruit, and I hope you were inspired to grow some and eat some or buy some. And that's it for this video. Bye. Say bye. 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 This jackfruit's definitely heavier than my baby. And spikier.